Welcome to Important Updates, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you are new here, do not forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an update. I bet you didn't know just how tense things have become in the South China Sea. The turquoise waters of the South China Sea shimmer under the sun, their surface glinting like a sheet of glass. This vast expanse, stretching as far as the eye can see, has long been a symbol of abundance and opportunity for those who call its shores home. But today, the horizon is crowded, not with the promise of open water, but with the silhouettes of countless ships, their hulls dotting the seascape in every direction. From the deck of a Philippine fishing boat, the view is stark. 19 Chinese vessels, Coast Guard and maritime militia, form a silent blockade around Scarborough Shoal. Their presence is unyielding, a wall of steel and authority that blocks the way forward. The fishermen's nets are empty, their access is cut off. Generations of families who have relied on these waters for their daily catch now find themselves shut out, their livelihoods hanging in the balance. This remote shoal, once a lifeline for local communities, is now the center of a growing international crisis. What was once a place of cooperation and shared bounty has become a flashpoint for tension and uncertainty. The sheer number of Chinese ships marks a major escalation, a calculated show of force from Beijing. Their coordinated arrival is not just a display of maritime power, but a message to the world about who intends to dominate these waters. The Chinese vessels move in coordinated precision, patrolling the area with unwavering discipline. Their constant presence is a daily reminder of who now controls these once neutral waters, and of the shifting balance of power in the region. For Filipino sailors, it's like being pushed out of their own backyard by a powerful neighbor. The sense of loss is palpable, not just of territory, but of tradition, dignity, and the right to make a living from the sea. Scarborough Shoal, or Bajo de Mazinloc, has been a traditional fishing ground for centuries. Generations have cast their nets here, passing down knowledge and stories from father to son, mother to daughter. Now, it's encircled by a formidable fleet, turning a shared resource into a point of exclusion and conflict. The waters that once united communities now divide them, as access is determined not by tradition, but by force. Each ship is a piece in a geopolitical chess game, representing China's expansive claims. The flags they fly are more than symbols. They are statements of intent, staking out territory in a contest that is as much about national pride as it is about resources. The Philippine government is sounding the alarm, warning of the dangers posed by this growing standoff. International news outlets are beginning to take notice, as the world watches to see how this confrontation will unfold. This quiet standoff could become something much larger, with consequences far beyond these tropical waters. The tension is palpable, like the calm before a storm, as nations weigh their next moves. The silent gathering of ships may be the prelude to a storm. In these still moments, the fate of a region, and perhaps the world's approach to contested waters, hangs in the balance, waiting for the next move in this high-stakes maritime drama. To truly grasp the roots of this conflict, you first need to understand what Scarborough Shoal is, and why it matters so much to so many. Scarborough Shoal isn't a sprawling island paradise. Instead, it's a small, triangular chain of reefs and rocks, barely peaking above the waves. Yet, it sits just 124 nautical miles from Luzon, the largest island in the Philippines, well within the country's exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, as defined by international law. An EEZ gives a nation special rights to explore and use marine resources, like fish, oil, and gas, within 200 nautical miles of its coast. For the Philippines, this means the waters around Scarborough Shoal are legally theirs to fish and develop, providing food and livelihoods for countless families. But from China's coast, the shoal is over 1,000 kilometers away, a vast distance across open sea. Despite this, China claims the area as its own, setting the stage for a tense standoff. Scarborough's significance is threefold: resources, strategy, and symbolism. Each of these factors makes the shoal far more valuable than its size suggests. Its lagoon is a rich fishing ground, teeming with marine life. For generations, Filipino communities have depended on these waters for their daily catch, making the shoal vital for food security and local economies. Beneath the waves, the seabed may hold significant oil and gas reserves, resources that could boost national energy security and economic growth. The potential wealth hidden here adds another layer of competition. Strategically, whoever controls the shoal can project power across the South China Sea, one of the world's busiest maritime trade routes. Control here means influence over trillions of dollars in annual trade and the movement of military forces. For China, occupying Scarborough Shoal would complete a triangle of military outposts, strengthening its hold over the region and expanding its reach far from its own shores. For the Philippines, the shoal is a matter of sovereignty, national pride, and the right to protect their own people and resources. It's a symbol of independence and resilience. For China, Scarborough Shoal is part of its sweeping historical claim over the South China Sea, marked by the controversial 9-dash line, a claim rejected by many, but fiercely defended by Beijing. This fight is about far more than a few rocks in the ocean. It's about national identity, the right to self-determination, and each country's standing on the world stage. The world is watching, and the stakes could not be higher. The recent surge in Chinese maritime activity is no accident. It is a calculated move, part of a broader strategy to assert dominance over contested waters in the South China Sea. Every maneuver, every deployment is carefully orchestrated to send a clear message to the region and the world. Satellite images now confirm the presence of at least 19 large Chinese vessels at Scarborough Shoal, a formidable mix of Coast Guard cutters and maritime militia ships. These vessels are not there by chance. Their numbers and positions are a deliberate show of strength, designed to overwhelm and intimidate any opposition. Coast Guard ships patrol the area relentlessly, asserting state authority with every pass. Their imposing presence is a constant reminder of China's claim over these disputed waters. Meanwhile, militia vessels, often disguised as ordinary fishing boats, operate in tight, organized formations. These are not simple fishermen but trained personnel carrying out coordinated missions. This maritime militia is central to China's so-called gray zone tactics, actions that are aggressive and provocative, but carefully calibrated to stop just short of open conflict or war. The flotilla's mission is clear: intimidate rivals, blockade access to key fishing grounds, and establish effective control over the area. By physically blocking entry, they make it nearly impossible for others to operate freely. Filipino fishermen who have relied on these waters for generations are kept out, often through direct confrontation or veiled threats. Their livelihoods are increasingly at risk, as they are forced to watch from a distance. The constant looming presence of these Chinese ships creates an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Many local fishermen are now too anxious to venture out, discouraged from resisting or even approaching their traditional fishing grounds. This deployment is more than just a local dispute. It's a calculated message to Manila and its allies, especially the United States. China is making it clear that it is willing to defend its claims, no matter the cost. By ignoring international warnings and dismissing new alliances, China is signaling that it won't be deterred by outside pressure. Its resolve is on full display for the world to witness. Ultimately, this is a powerful show of force, an unmistakable demonstration of China's growing maritime ambitions, meant for the entire world to see and understand. Manila has responded swiftly and publicly. The Philippine Coast Guard condemned the Chinese blockade as a violation of sovereignty and international law. By releasing photos and reports, the Philippines is shining a global spotlight on Beijing's actions. President Marcos Jr. has drawn a red line. Any Chinese construction on the shoal would trigger a serious response. The Philippines is strengthening its alliance with the United States, whose mutual defense treaty now explicitly covers the South China Sea. Manila must balance standing up for its rights with avoiding direct conflict. The message: the Philippines will not back down, and the world is watching. The Scarborough Shoal dispute has deep roots. The Philippines' claim is based on geography and post-Dabilawan legal frameworks. For decades, Filipino fishermen had free access, and the area was effectively under Philippine control. Everything changed in 2012. After a tense standoff over Chinese fishing boats, the U.S. brokered a mutual withdrawal, but only the Philippines complied. China stayed. Since then, China has maintained a permanent presence, blocking Filipino fishermen. This marked a shift in regional power. China seized control without firing a shot. Filipino fishermen have faced harassment and water cannons. Diplomatic protests have been ignored. The current massing of ships is just the latest chapter in a long, painful struggle. Scarborough Shoal remains a symbol of lost territory and unresolved conflict. In 2013, the Philippines took China to international court under UNCLOS. The 2016 Hague Tribunal ruled decisively for the Philippines. China's 9-dash line has no legal basis, and Scarborough Shoal is within the Philippine EEZ. The ruling affirmed Filipino fishing rights and declared China's blockade unlawful. China rejected the decision outright, calling it a piece of waste paper. Beijing continues to ignore the ruling, undermining the international legal order. The Philippines holds a binding judgment, but lacks the power to enforce it. Manila now seeks to rally global support, hoping to raise the political and reputational costs for China. The legal victory remains unenforced, but it shapes the narrative. The Scarborough Shoal conflict has global implications. The South China Sea is a vital maritime corridor. Trillions in trade pass through each year. Instability here threatens global shipping and economic security. The US, Japan, Australia, and others conduct freedom of navigation operations to challenge China's claims. China's defiance of the Hague ruling is a direct challenge to the rules-based order. If international law is ignored, it sets a dangerous precedent for the world. Regional neighbors with their own redrawn amusement makers and own disputes watch closely, wary of escalation. The standoff is about more than territory. It's about the future of international norms. The economic stakes are enormous. Over $3 trillion in trade flows through the South China Sea annually. Any conflict could disrupt supply chains, raise prices, and trigger global economic shockwaves. Rerouted shipping means higher costs for consumers everywhere. The region also holds vast oil and gas reserves, intensifying competition. Businesses and markets watch the region nervously. Uncertainty is bad for investment. A single miscalculation could spark a crisis with worldwide consequences. The security of these waters is a global economic concern. What happens here affects the price of goods on shelves everywhere. As of December 19, 2025, Scarborough Shoal remains a tense stalemate. China's blockade continues. The Philippines protests and patrols, backed by the US. The future could bring continued standoff, dangerous escalation, or rare de-escalation. If China builds on the shoal, it could trigger a strong response, possibly sanctions or military action. A miscalculation could spiral into wider conflict. Diplomacy remains possible, but distant. ASEAN or other regional players could mediate, but sovereignty disputes persist. The world should pay attention. This is a test for international law and global order. Will disputes be settled by law or by force? The fate of this remote shoal could shape the world we all live in.